From SpaceX's Starship making fiery progress, to China's laser communication satellites, and Rocket Lab's hypersonic accelerator test, it's been a week full of groundbreaking milestones. So welcome to another episode of Spaceflight News. Let's kick off with the latest from SpaceX's Starship development. And trust me, it's been a fiery week. Starting with Booster 14, SpaceX conducted a flawless static fire test, igniting all 33 Raptor engines on the orbital launch mount at Starbase. The test showcased an impressive plume of fire, with shockwaves visibly rippling from beneath the booster. It's a true demonstration of power. Shortly after, as expected, SpaceX lifted the massive booster off the mount and carefully transported it back to the production site. While this process may look routine now, it's a critical part of SpaceX's test campaign, ensuring Booster 14 is ready for the next Starship test flight. Meanwhile, Ship 33, the latest Block 2 Starship, rolled out of the production site earlier this week. The vehicle made its way to Macy's test site, where it began its test campaign with cryogenic loading, essentially filling the ship with supercooled liquid oxygen and methane to verify structural integrity. Within 24 hours, SpaceX performed a spin prime test, flowing propellant through the Raptor engines without ignition. What's different about Ship 33? This is one of the first vehicles featuring the new forward flap design, which are angled differently to reduce exposure to re-entry heat. These changes reflect lessons learned from past test flights, and are critical for improving Starship's thermal resilience during descent. Over at Pad B, SpaceX construction crews remain hard at work. The flame diverter, a massive piece of infrastructure designed to handle the heat and pressure from future launches, is being assembled off-site and is expected to be installed very soon. Additionally, tanks are also rolling into place, underscoring SpaceX's relentless effort to expand Starbase infrastructure for future test flights and operational missions. Now, let's shift gears to this week's top space headline. There's plenty to cover. First up, Jared Isaacman, the entrepreneur behind SpaceX's Polaris program, made waves this week during his speech at the Space Power Conference. While Isaacman avoided commenting directly on his rumored nomination as the next NASA administrator, his message was clear. The United States can't be second in space. He emphasized the transformative potential of space entrepreneurship and called for private companies to take risks and lead innovation ahead of government demand. Isaacman's roles in the Polaris program, which includes private astronaut missions to push the boundaries of human spaceflight, align closely with his vision of a new era of great experimentation. However, he did acknowledge that part of the Polaris program, like its ambitious goals for EVA and other missions, remain a bit of a question mark. Meanwhile, over at Blue Origin, the company reaffirmed its goals of launching the New Glenn rocket this year. The Blue Ring Pathfinder, set to fly on NG-1, will remain attached to the rocket's upper stage during 6-hour missions to test orbital transfer vehicle technologies. While a specific launch date remains elusive, this is a major step forward for Blue Origin as it works to establish itself in the heavy lift launch market. In policy news, Congress is ramping up pressure on the FAA. Representatives Sam Graves and Rob Whitman sent a letter urging the agency to accelerate its launch licensing process, which many companies argue has been slowed by cumbersome Part 450 regulations. The current system, which intended to streamline the approvals, often result in the opposite, with months or even years of delay due to pre-application reviews. This comes just as the FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker announced his resignation, effective January 20th. And there's good news for global cooperation. The Artemis Accords hit a significant milestone this week, with 50 nations now signed on. In ceremonies at NASA headquarters, Panama and Austria became the latest signatories. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson noted the growing international interest in the Accord's principles for safe and sustainable space exploration. With 17 countries joining just this year, officials expect several more nations to sign on very soon. Over on Mars, NASA's Ingenuity helicopter has officially grounded after its 72nd flight, far exceeding its original mission of just 5 flights. During its final flight, Ingenuity's navigation system struggled with featureless terrain, causing a hard landing. While engineers initially thought that the rotors broke upon ground contact, they now believe the stress of the landing itself caused the damage. Ingenuity remains operational, however, and so it will continue to provide some valuable data from its landing position. Now let's dive into the launches this week. On December 12th, China's Long March 2C rocket successfully launched the high-speed laser diamond constellation test system. This mission deployed 5 prototype satellites into low Earth orbit to test advanced laser communication technologies. These technologies are critical for enabling low-latency, high-speed connections between satellites, laying the groundwork for future global communication networks. Next, on December 13th, SpaceX completed another Starlink launch from Vandenberg Space Force. On December 14th, Rocket Lab launched its Electron rocket from the Wallop Flight Facility in Virginia, USA. The mission, named Stonehenge, carried out a suborbital hypersonic accelerator test. These hypersonic tests are vital for advancing the technologies needed for high-speed aerospace systems, with applications ranging from defense to future transport systems. And that's a wrap for this week's episode. The space industry shows no sign of slowing down. Let us know in the comments. What launch or development are you excited about the most? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more weekly space updates.